Hello cats and kittens, Mama Cat Gamer here. I'm doing a quick recap for my daughter of the Realm Reborn story and the patches that go from 2.1 to 2.55, taking us into Heavensward. She wanted to have a synopsis because she wanted to skip ahead because it was a little too slow for her, but she still wanted to know what's going on. So I'm going to try and do a quick recap. The first thing we're going to do is see the original trailer, because you have to kind of understand what's happening with the Battle of Cartano to understand the basis for the entire story of Realm Reborn. Then I'm going to do a second trailer because it was a launch trailer for a Realm Reborn. It does a great job, actually, of providing a synopsis of, the entire Realm Reborn. So minus some things. So I'm going to use that a lot to kind of keep everything brief. And then we'll do a little more extensively into the patch quests because they're terrific. And you really need to have some of that knowledge that's given in the patch quest to get into Heavensward, to understand what's happening. So here we go. This is Gavtia, right? This is the loading screen that you get every time you load a character in. And he's our main character today, so I will be speaking as if Gav's going through this. All right, now this video is the trailer that led into A Realm Reborn. It follows the Battle of Cartano, which happened 5 years prior to Realm Reborn, and it follows the pivotal battle that day that led to the calamity. It follows Master Louisoix Levailleur, who was one of the greatest mages of his day. He knows that the red moon of Dalamud is descending. It's about ready to release the elder primal Bahamut, which would lead to, worldwide destruction if he's not contained. In the middle of this battle, the forces of Eorzea, which is, the place where you're from in A Realm Reborn, is fighting against the forces of the Garlean Empire, who are basically the bad guys, all right? On top of this, they've got the primal being released. And as you can see, it's going to turn out rather not how they had hoped, right? So enjoy this part. I'll talk through it if you want to watch the unedited, version. Go to the Square Enix site. It's a great trailer. See, one of them, the meteors are already falling from the sky. And that's the red moon of Dalamud. It's actually an artificial satellite that's currently containing the elder primal Bahamut, preventing him from destroying the world. The Garleans have created a project to release that elder primal to destroy Eorzea. These are the city-states of Eorzea. I just saw Limsa, Ulda, and this is Gridania. And these are the plains of Cartano, which is the main battlefield where all of this happens. You can see how huge the forces are. These are the three leaders of the city-states. This is the main battleship. That's Gaius van Belsar, leading the Garleans. This is some of your different jobs that you can be in-game. This guy is the Warrior of Light. He has a recurring appearance in all the trailers, showing some of the different races you can be. And Lalafell just healed him up. bring it in. That's Sid. His father is the one who's released that meteor, done the meteor project that released the Elder Primal Bahamut. Sid is defected because he didn't like what was happening there. So he's defected from Garlean Empire to Eorzea. Some music goosebumps. Ever been in the battlefield this spring? 12. You can see troops are already running away because Bahamut is just decimating them. Just prior to this, the Eorzeans had found that somebody was working to release Bahamut. Master Louis Leviathan had discovered it. He has positioned different people at all of the shrines to the 12 deities that are the pantheon in Eorzea. They have been sent to pray to power this spell that Master Louis is going to cast soon. You see how powerful this attack by Bahamut is because it shatters the shield that's surrounding some of these leaders and things like that. So let's go on. That's Master Louis. Here he is, he's now casting the spell as all of these shrines have been activated with the power of the 12 to try and contain Bahamut, reseal him. Looks like it might be working. These are the glyphs of each of the 12. But no, fails. His staff is shattered there. This staff called Tupsimati. Spells failed. Louis creates a spell that shoots people out of this battlefield. This makes him. So what he's done is he's taken all these people off the battlefield and sent them to the rift so that they can survive. Master Louis uses every bit of his ether, his basic soul energy, to power a spell to basically defeat Bahamut, but he knows this is about to kill him. And that ends that one. That's how you came to be. Now, you've been shot forward in 5 years into the future after Louis sacrificed himself to contain Bahamut. That smile on Louis face gets me every time. He knows he's dying. He's going to die, but he knows he's saved Eorzea. Next, we're going to see the actual launch trailer of Realm Reborn. I'm probably going to stop this along the way and kind of explain things. This actually does a pretty good synopsis of A Realm Reborn. So I'm actually going to use a lot of this to kind of tell you what's going on in the story. And then I'll kind of fill in after that with some other videos. Great music.
Hear, feel, think.
This is the Mother Crystal, Mother Heidelin. Heidelin is, I don't know, she's like the goddess of all the gods. She's not part of the 12, but it's like she's above that. All right. She's represented as a crystal kind of in the void, but she's the crystal of light, and her, the big thing is hear, feel, think. This is your warrior of light. The power to banish the darkness, which is the coming darkness that is threatening Eorzea. The power to banish the darkness is with you. You're the warrior of light.
Dwelleth in the crystals of light.
That power dwells in crystals of light. You have to find 6 crystals of light throughout your journey.
Journey forth and lay claim to them.
This is General Rauban Aldin. This is him at the Battle of Cartno. He's just realized there's nothing he can do. He has to withdraw all of his forces because otherwise they'll be utterly destroyed by the primal. And he's just furious at being powerless to stop Bahamut. That's Kane Senna.
Of this battle was long since decided.
She is the elder seed seer of Gridania. She's the leader of Gridania. General Aldin, along with Sultana Nanamo Ulnamo, rule Ulda, and then Admiral Merylvib Lufiswin, which is a hard name to say, is the leader of Limsa Liminza, the island of Vilbrand. At the end, you see 2 Ascians there. They are the immortal or near immortal beings who are the bringers of darkness, basically. And they want to sow chaos in order to bring darkness. These Ascians are cackling maniacally because, they've accomplished something they think succeeding.
My name is Kane Senna.
She leads Gridania.
It is my solemn charge to watch over all who call Gridania home.
Glory to the Sultana!
We are graced this day by the presence of a hero to Ulda.
Brave souls are few and far between in these times. I count my blessings when I find one.
Okay, so you just saw General Rauban Aldin and Sultana Nanamo. For the first 15-ish levels or so within the story, okay? You're going around doing adventuring, helping people. Nobody really knows who you are, and learning the lay of the land. You've just arrived after, being kind of in a rift for 5 years, right? You start in one of these 3 city-states. During those first 15 levels, closer to 15, you defeat a powerful enemy, and you find a crystal of light within it. Well, one of these Scions, and you've got Admiral Merylvib on the right here, and Y'shtola, one of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, on the left. They recognize this crystal of light, and they understand that it's Heidelin's shards to help stave off the darkness, basically.
This is one of the crystals of light by the Navigator. If you are to survive, your steel must needs speak for you. Heed well her words, adventurer, for it is Heidelin herself who speaks.
So after you've found these things, they recognize that you have this power within you called the Echo. And I'll explain that a little bit more later because there's a little clip we'll have. Minfilia actually just explains it really well. It's a power that you take through the entire game, and the game utilizes it fairly often as a flashback technique. It lets you see things as they were. After you've done some stuff for the city-states and you're recognized as, a hero, you're sent on to the headquarters of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, which is in Vesper Bay, who you're about to see the Garlean Empire leaders.
Eorzea, a blighted realm, riddled with false gods. Twice now it has eluded the Empire's grasp. And for this failure,
the Garlean Empire tried to invade Eorzea 15 years ago and then again 5 years ago. From left to right, you have Riditon, one of the chief lieutenants, all right? And then you have Gaius van Balsar, who's leading this whole thing. Then you see Nero, and in red there, and then the gal to the far right is Livia. You defeat Riditon in a trial. You will defeat Livia in the dungeon Castrum Meridianum, and then you defeat Nero in the Praetorium dungeon, all right, on your way into defeating the Ultima weapon. What they've done here is build an Ultima weapon. They need to power it up, and to do that, they need primals to do it. There is an Ascian, Lahabrea, who is encouraging the Garlean Empire to go build this weapon, right? It's helping them develop it. And so the Ascians are working with the Garleans to bring more chaos. So not only are you dealing with primals, the godlike creatures that can create a lot of destruction within the world, mostly because they enthrall anybody around them who doesn't have a special kind of power called the Echo to prevent them from being tempered or enthralled.
and for this failure, the realm has sunk deeper into depravity. It is twisted beyond all reckoning.
What you're seeing here is actually the battle from 15 years ago. All right. And the dragon you see on there is Midgard Sormer. He is in the middle of destroying one of the biggest ships the Garlean Empire ever built, called the Agrius.
Rotten nigh to the core.
There's Riditon.
Yet it must be saved.
You'll see that again in Silver Tear Lake by Mordona. You'll have an encounter with Midgard Sormer later. That's Nero.
Garland. Soon you will be made to know the true power of Magitech.
Sid and Nero were both in the same engineering area of the Empire, at the very top. Sid is an engineering and flight genius, as is Nero. Sid defected because he didn't want to kill everybody, right?
So you're the adventurer of whom I've heard so much.
Okay, that's Minfilia. She's the leader of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn.
Have you ever had the sensation of being pulled away from reality? Brother, are you...
This is Alize. You don't see a lot of her in Realm Reborn. You will see her more in expansions. She has a much bigger role there.
certain this course is best?
Remembrance will yield no remedy. If our world is to heal, we must put the horrors of the calamity behind us.
That was Alfino Levailleur. They are the grandchildren of Louisoix Levailleur, gifted magic users, both of them. They were the youngest students ever to be accepted into the Charlean School of Magic. And here they're actually teenagers, right? I think they're like 17 or something like that. So they're a little bit older. And they're brilliant. They're prodigies, but they're still teenagers too. Once you have been recognized as a hero and have made your way to Vesper Bay and join the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, your job is to kill some primals, right? To help save the land from the primal threat. Only the Scions can really do it because they're basically the superpowers of Eorzea. They're all extremely gifted with magic. And they all have their particular specialties. The three primals that you're going to defeat as you make your way about midway through Realm Reborn.
Yes.
This is Ifrit. Right here. He's the bringer of flame. This is Titan, the Lord of Crags.
I do not tremble at my
And this is Garuda, the Howling Gale. She's kind of a bird creature.
might. Why do you not beg for mercy? Why do you not die?
You actually are able to defeat these primals because you can go up against them when very few other people can, because you have the echo that prevents you from being tempered or enthralled. Here, this is Sid's airship. I want to say this is the Empire shooting at it.
Ah, Sid, my boy, you look well for one who has forsaken kin and country.
This is right after they've destroyed Garuda. Sid learns that Gaius is building the Ultima weapon, right? And he's using primals to power it.
I wonder what else you will forsake before the day is done.
You're seeing an Ascian. As you get farther into the game, you also learn that there's heavy Ascian involvement. So you're not fighting just primals anymore. You're not fighting just the Empire anymore. You're now fighting Ascians.
It is only right that I should take your realm.
This is your fight
But
with
none
Gaius
of you has the power
in the
to
Praetorium
stop me.
dungeon.
The salve will serve not only to close up our present wounds, but prevent old ones from opening anew.
And spoiler alert, you do defeat the Ultima weapon. But we'll get into that. Gavtia is no ordinary adventurer, and he defeats powerful foes that would destroy other fighters, but he's touched by the Echo. It's a mysterious gift that allows him to relive others' memories and grants him immunity to the influence of primals. This power draws the attention of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, guardians of peace, balance, and truth. So to show you kind of what the Echo is like,
coming on.
he has this, bad headache, and he kind of doubles over with his hand to his head. And then you'll see the memory in this kind of, sepia glitchy sort of view. So that is the power that has drawn the attention of the Scions. I wanted to show you that because you'll see it repeatedly through the expansions as well. Let me introduce you to the Scions. This is Tataru. Here we'll introduce you to the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. They have a great deal of importance throughout the base game and the expansions. So we're going to show them to you, and I'm going to let the video do a lot of the talking. So if you don't see my lips moving but hear my voice, that's why. I got the camera covering up.
Well met, friend. My name is Minthelia. We are the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, an order that transcends political boundaries. Our single objective is the preservation of the future of Eorzea. Among our gravest concerns are the godlike beings known as the primals. Their existence is a bane upon Eorzea, nay, the world at large, and we have striven to find a lasting solution to the threat they pose.
You'll also find out that the primals are put together by, they call the Allied Society tribes now, but they call them beastmen in the base game. And the beastmen are being influenced by the Ascians to make these primals to sow chaos into the world, right? So they can bring the darkness because they serve a god of darkness.
Our order is home to a number of individuals who, like you, possess a rare and special talent. This talent takes various forms, but one holds particular interest for us. Yours is the power to transcend the boundaries of the soul, a power known as the Echo. The Echo allows you to pass through the walls of a man's soul and hear the resonations of his past. You will be there in his memories. For another blessing, The echo will enable you to know a man's mind even if you cannot comprehend his words. In short, the echo is a truly extraordinary power, and this power is strong within you. It is only a shame that we cannot use it whensoever we choose.
Yes, and sometimes the echo comes on at the most inconvenient times, like right before a battle. So it can be a blessing and a curse.
I, too, possess the echo. Let us return to the subject of the primals. So long as they exist, the realm cannot take so much as a single step towards true peace. Measures must be taken. Measures which transcend boundaries, be they of faction, race, language, or creed. And to do so, the Scions require the aid of those with our talent. Make no mistake, the Echo will be instrumental in dealing with the primal threat. Without it, we cannot hope to save the realm.
So you have the Echo. The reason the primals are also a threat is because they sow discord between the Beastmen tribes and the Eorzean people. You know, if there's no peace with the Beast tribes, there's no peace, right? There's always constant fighting. You've just agreed to join the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, so now Minfilia is going to introduce you to the other Scions.
But come, I would introduce you to your friends in the Order. Tell me, does the name Garlean ring any bells? It used to be one of Eorzea's 6 city-states, and was situated in the northwest of Aldenard.
This is like the center for learning in all of the world, basically. We don't see it until into Endwalker, but we hear a lot of it. Garlean scholars is a big thing.
The Garleans were the keepers of wisdom both old and new. Their mastery over magic and ether was unsurpassed, and even the Garleans knew to fear them. Among their number, there were a noble few who devoted their lives to safeguarding the future of Eorzea. These noble men and women were called the Archons.
And the most powerful Archons are included in this group. I think everybody that you'll be introduced to shortly is an Archon.
Those same brave souls stand before you now.
So you can see on their necks, all of the Archons have a special magical tattoo that marks them as, at a glance, as, you know, one of these powerful magic users.
The masked woman is Ida, and beside her is Popalimo. The two are charged with surveying the Twelveswood.
Hello there. Welcome.
Ida is sort of the combat specialist, brawler type in the group. And she knows a lot about ether also. And then Papalimo is one of their most powerful spellcasters. And he was actually a student of Master Louisoix.
I had every confidence that you would agree to help us.
Me too. Okay, my turn to introduce someone. That there is Thancred.
He is our man here in Ulda, Jewel of the Desert.
Welcome to the team.
Thancred is the specialist in espionage, stealth, ninja-like skills. He's quite the ladies' man, all right? You see him flirting a lot, especially in ARR. But he has a special kind of friendship with Minfilia because he and Minfilia were both orphans in Ulda, basically. So he got to know Minfilia as a child, even an older child, maybe. I'm not sure what age they got together, but both of them ended up studying under Master Louisoix. I think Thancred got picked because he tried to pickpocket Louisoix, and Louisoix was so impressed with the guy's skill that he, brought him into the team. So that's sort of Thancred's questionable background.
If I may, the lovely maiden beside me is named Yastola. Limsa Lominsa has the pleasure of being under her care.
Greetings. Last but not least is Urianger, who presides over all affairs within these halls. Pray seek him out whenever you have questions.
Oh, I wanted to say Thancred has a heart of gold, though, even if he's, a little sassy now and then. Y'shtola is a specialist in etherology and a powerful mage on her own. Urianger is their research specialist. He has some kind of premonition powers, precognition powers. So he's sort of their mystic, interprets, prophecies, things like that.
Dawn may banish even the darkest night. The words of a dear friend. I'm glad of our meeting.
I think that quote is something Master Louisoix said, which is why Minfilia looked at him kind of quizzically. Urianger speaks in Shakespearean, Middle English. So I translate the stuff for you later on.
Those blessed with the Echo play a pivotal role in our endeavor to forge a brighter tomorrow for the realm. Oh, I should also introduce you to Tataru, our clerk. She ensures that everything runs smoothly.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
All right, Tataru is also the chief financial officer in addition to the secretary. She's the one that keeps their whole organization afloat and is quite skilled at it. She's definitely a wheeler dealer. She knows her way around bars. So she's also the person who kind of keeps an ear to the ground and picks up gossip and important tidbits of info that she passes on to the Scions.
In time, I hope you will come to think of us as family. But without further ado, I would assign you your first task. Urianger, have the documents arrived from the students of Baldessian?
Aye, my lady. They arrived but recently.
We have received a request for aid from the Immortal Flames. Thancred, would you do the honors?
It would be my pleasure. Some days ago, a crystal caravan registered to Moenbryda and Sons.
All right. We're going to cut it off there. Also joining is Alphino. Oh, look who sauntered in.
I fondly hoped that I might be the first to speak with you. Would that I had been so fortunate. At ease, adventurer. I come not on behalf of the Empire. On the contrary, I mean to revive the Scions of the 7th Dawn.
What happened there is, after you get done defeating the primals, and you have to defeat them because if you don't, if they are allowed to stay alive, they start draining the entire world of ether. And if you drain the world of ether, it dies. All right. What happened after that is the Garlean Empire got word of the location of Vesper Bay, the Waking Sands headquarters, and actually kidnaps some of the Scions. Now you have to go invade Garlean strongholds called a castrum or castra for plural. Alphino says, "Hey, let's get together and reform the Scions of the 7th Dawn." We might skip ahead a little bit here.
And to that end, I have come in search of a legend. The greatest engineer of our time, Master Cid Garland. I have come for you.
Here's where you meet Cid. Up until this point, he's called himself Marcus. He lost his memory after the Battle of Cartano, so he doesn't remember who he is, and so he's kind of holed up at this church and, served as he might. He finally gets his memory back.
'Tis no secret what befell our order at the Waking Sands. Word has already spread across Eorzea. The repercussions are far greater than you realize. In the wake of the calamity, the 3 city-states focused their efforts solely on reconstruction, leaving the Scions to combat the primal threat unaided. And lo, we are all but destroyed. Yet even as the nations mourn our demise and abandon what little hope they have left, we cannot forsake our duty, now least of all.
Alfino is nothing if not earnest. Okay, he may be a teenager, he may be kind of naive, but he believes in a united Eorzea. He wants to bring them all together.
The Ixal have summoned Garuda once more, and she torments the people of Kurthus as we speak. Her appetite for destruction far exceeds that of other primals. Worse, in her present incarnation, our Baldessian colleagues believe she surpasses both Ifrit and Titan in strength.
Oh, that's no good.
If we are to face our foe, we must first circumvent the tempest that shields her sanctuary. And for that, we need an airship. Your airship, Sid.
Yeah, Sid Garland built an airship. His airship is a little smaller and more agile than the current airships that go between the city-states that you've taken rides on.
It was last seen in the skies over Gridania, not long before the calamity. So let us begin our search there.
You can see the goggles cover Sid's third eye. The Garleans are all known for having a third eye in the center of their forehead. And those that don't want to be known as Garleans will hide that third eye. So now you've met pretty much all of the Scions. Alizé joins later on. You need to find your airship, and you've learned that it has disappeared somewhere in Kurthus. Kurthus is actually owned by the nation of Ishgard. Ishgard may mean either the nation or the city-state itself. Kurthus is lands to the south of the city of Ishgard, and House Forton controls a large chunk of this land. Lord Horshfon Greystone, he is the son of Count Edmont de Forton, illegitimate son. So he doesn't have the same right of succession that Lord Edmont's other sons have. But Count Edmont loves Lord Horshfon, and so he's put him in a position of importance, basically running Camp Dragonhead. And the lands of Kurthus are north of northern Thanalan, basically. And you reach this area in the later portions of the game. Lord Horshfon helps you to find the airship. When you find out that the airship is inside, I believe, the Dungeon of Stone Vigil, which is being held by a different house. There are 4 main houses in Ishgard. The other house, Highlandart, who controls Stone Vigil, so you have to be able to get in there. Horshfon helps you kind of navigate the politics behind this and help out this other house to be able to get access to the Stone Vigil. Once you get the ship out, you're able to confront Garuda. And that's where you learn that the Garleans are building this ultimate weapon, and they've just used Garuda's power to help fuel it. This ultimate weapon is being fueled by primals that suck ether out of the land and, the people around it. So this constitutes an even greater threat. But let's introduce you to Lord Horshfon, because he's a very important character at the end of A Realm Reborn and into Heavensward. So I really want you to have a chance to get to know him a little bit. Here's Horshfon. The unmistakable swagger of a well-traveled adventurer. If you are come to pay your respects, be at ease, friend. I am not one to stand on formality. Truth be told, I would gladly welcome many and more brave souls like yourself. But enough chatter. Pray tell me why you have come. If there is any justice in this world, those charges will receive no serious consideration. It is beyond inconceivable. Yes. The letter made mention of a pressing matter for which you required assistance. What might that be? The charges he's speaking of is the charges of heresy against his best friend, Lord Francel. In order to gain Horshfon's aid, you help solve the problem of Francel's, being wrongfully accused of heresy, which results in a death sentence, basically. So this enterprise you speak of was last seen above Kurthus before the calamity 5 years ago. I fear it may prove difficult to find any eyewitness to these events, for while Ishgard did not participate in the Battle of Cartano, we were embroiled in our own internal conflicts at the time. Nevertheless, I will make inquiries on your behalf and share with you my findings in the future. In the meantime, please enjoy the hospitality of Camp Dragonhead. I will see that you are afforded every courtesy as a guest of House Fortin. Lord Orchefort has a proposal for how you might participate in his investigation. As you have doubtless realized by now, the high houses of Ishgard, House Fortin included, are either unable or unwilling to offer you formal assistance in your search. However, that does not mean that there are not influential individuals within each house who are sympathetic to your cause. I shall be sending missives to their various representatives in Ishgard, though I suspect it would be quicker and more efficient if you were to make inquiries of your own. With the help of our cheerful, kind, and chivalrous Lord Horshfall, you're able to obtain the airship, and you defeat Gudruda. Once you have learned that the Empire is building this ultimate weapon called Ultima, you notify the Eorzean leaders, Sultana Nanamo and General Rauban of Ulda, Admiral Murlvid Lufiswin of Limzilla Minza, and Elder Seer Khan Asena of Gridania. You notify them of the Empire's imminent attack. These leaders determine that they must join together to defeat this evil, and they invite the nation of Ishgard to join them because, the Garlean Empire would threaten Ishgard also. Ishgard does not reply since it's already embroiled in a war against the Dravanian dragons. The nations get together and they each attack different castra of the Garlean Empire that are located near or in Eorzean lands. They cut off supplies and material and soldiers from coming into Castrum Meridianum and the Praetorium. So to culminate a Realm Reborn story, you end up fighting through Castrum Meridianum. You defeat Livia. You have a big fight with Riditin at one of the other castra. You infiltrate Meridianum and end up in the Praetorium, where you fight Lord Gaius for quite some time. Before Gaius escapes, you go to the central chamber where the Ultima weapon is. So Gav is shocked to see just how big that thing is.
Allow me then, hero, to do that which you will not.
Gaius has just monologued us to death about, how the strong must govern the weak and how feeble the Eorzeans are and how the future belongs to Garlean Empire, and, the general, bad guy, evil monologue before the final fight thing. So he's going to get in and pilot this thing. So you start the fight off, and the ultimate weapon is supposed to be like this super powerful thing. It's a view of the fight. If you do the MSQ dungeon roulette, you'll see the three fights of Castrum Meridianum, Praetorium, and Ultima fight quite often.
But the Ultima weapon is all-powerful. Why does my enemy still stand? Can his strength truly be so great?
It is the blessing of light that confounds you.
You find out Lahabrea is the Ascian behind the entire development of this Ultima weapon. And you discover one more important thing about Lahabrea. You discover that Lahabrea has taken over Thancred's body And that's how the Garleans were able to know where Vesper Bay was, because the Ascian, or using Thancred, informed them of where the headquarters were. And that's how they were able to capture the Scions. You do rescue the Scions later on.
Your foe acts under the protection of the crystal he bears.
So basically, you're not able to be defeated by this, huge ultimate weapon. Because of the Blessing of Light, you've collected all 6 crystals, and Heidelin's power is kind of coursing through you and giving you extra special powers against the darkness. So I'm going to move forward a little bit.
Your foe acts under the protection of the crystal he bears.
So, this is what empowers him.
Beyond mortal limits. If you are to prevail, the hammer of darkness must needs be brought to bear upon the shield of light. And so it shall, for the Ultima weapon is host to a power of which you are as yet ignorant.
Speak plainly, Ascian.
The heart of Sabik. It is the weapon's core, an enigma whose surface even the vaunted scholars of ancient Alec failed to scratch. Okay, the Allegans were, existed like thousands of years prior to present-day Eorzea, and they were known for wielding tremendous magic and tremendous technology. The magic within has lain dormant for eons.
Of what magic do you speak?
A spell without parallel. Ultima. I sought the life force of the primals for no other reason but to quicken the core. For the true power of the Ultima weapon lies within its now beating heart.
Lahabrea, what have you done?
No more than was necessary for my god to be reborn. So the Ascians' true goal is to bring back their god, who's a god of darkness, to banish the goddess of light, Heidelin.
Damn you, Ascian.
The hour is at hand. Behold but a sliver of my god's power. From the deepest pit of the 7 hells to the very pinnacle of the heavens, the world shall tremble. Unleash Ultima! So you can see just how powerful that magical force is. Basically turned the caster into an apocalyptic nightmare. We've massively destroyed everything. Gotta have the mandatory evil guy cackle.
Such devastation! This was not my intention!
Oh, Heidelin. It seems the task of keeping your champion alive has exhausted what strength you had left. Van Belsar, your enemy's shield is broken. The rest I leave to you.
We will speak later.
Yeah, you owe me a lot of money to rebuild this Castra.
I must deal with you. The question of who is mightier remains. Come, adventurer. Let us find the answer together.
Somebody was saying, if you know, Lahabrea, if you break it, you buy it. And I said, how much do Castra cost again? And the healer said 30 gil. So you have this, you know, tremendous battle. You'll enjoy the music very much. I love the music in this battle. I never get tired of it. I don't know how many times I have done this battle. I never get tired of that music. It's a fun fight. You get to do a lot of cool things. You will see down here, I don't know if you can see the circle. Next to my cast bars is this little bar that says Limit Break. I'm going to explain that real quick. Limit Break is a extra powerful, it's like the super cyan power, okay? You can have 1 or 2 bars or 3. As each bar charges fully, you get a stronger and stronger superpower, basically. It's once or twice a dungeon. But you can see it's been charging here. And I just consumed it there because it was full bar. Get a taste of some of this fantastic music. I'm going to go back just a little bit after this because I want you to see this Limit Break 3 power because it's really cool. You see how all 3 bars charged there. Once that's charged, you can unleash your Limit Break. And it's usually the melee that do the Limit Break 3 because they get the most DPS out of it of any of the jobs. Limit Break 3 on a tank does a protection kind of spell. It's used in certain dungeons. Limit Break 3 on a healer will revive everybody in your party to full health. So there's some uses for it for a healer. Limit Break 1 and 2 on a healer I never used. Some of the casters, like Black Mage, Red Mage, a summoner will use a Limit Break 3 for, or use any Limit Break basically, because they get an AoE round Limit Break. That's great for packs of enemies if you are going through a dungeon and need to kill something quick. And then the physical ranged DPS, Bard, Dancer, Machinist, they do a line AoE attack. That can be useful in certain circumstances, but the melee DPS Limit Break 3 is an extremely high DPS single target kill. And it's usually saved for boss battles. So let's go back. Every Limit Break 3 has its own unique animation. Limit Break 1 and 2, everybody does basically the same thing. Limit Break 3 has a different animation for each job, and they're really, really cool effects. I'm on a Dragoon here, which is basically dragon-based, so you're going to see it turn into a dragon here in just a moment. I tell you about a Limit Break because a lot of people don't know what that is. It's not explained well in the game. And I I'm tapping because I want to be the one that hits it. Turned into a dragon. Yeah. And you can see how much health that killed. I got it. So we have now defeated the ultimate weapon.
No! Yeah.
Gaius is defeated as well. You leave him laying there to go on to the fight with Lahabrea.
The growing imbalance afflicting the planet must be redressed.
He's explaining why the Ascians are attacking the planet that Eorzea is on.
If it is permitted to worsen, the very laws of existence, both etheric and physical, will be warped beyond all recognition.
That's interesting. Assuming we could trust him.
Know you the root of this corruption? Hydaelyn. Like a parasite, she must be burned out if the planet is to recover. And naught but the return of the one true god will ensure her complete excision. Yet, to pave the way for the Master's return, a chaotic confluence of untold proportions must needs be brought about. And that will necessitate the presence of the primals. Needless to say, both you and your Scion accomplices cannot be suffered to interfere in this endeavor.
So now you understand why the primals came into being. They were being stirred up by him, the Ascian, so he could accomplish this, enormous chaos. Duty calls, commence battle for the ultimate weapon. Fighting Lahabrea.
It is past time your flame was extinguished, bringer of light.
Try and use your surecast or arm's length or whatever you can to not have to get pushed back there. Almost done. Yeah. We did it. So you've beaten him here.
If thou wouldst pierce the shadows, make thee a blade of light.
Now you know why you collected all 6 crystals, right?
What?
Thancred has been separated from Lahabrea at this point. All right, he's finally out of Thancred. Okay, you and all your friends and allies use your power together. Good riddance, Lahabrea. So the Ascian influence is gone, finally. Thancred is no longer enthralled. You realize he's alive, but now you have to escape this burning castrum. Right? This place. It's like, how do you get out of this? The whole thing's on fire. Okay, so this little Magitech car vehicle thing. I love the little, sticker, the flame sticker on the side of it, and the, purple and white striped seats, right? You rebuilt this little guy, and you thought it was destroyed trying to get into the central chambers of Praetorium, but I don't know if Sid fixed him or the little Magitech recovered. He's kind of has this little sassy spirit to him. It's a cute scene. Has some personality. Right? So he's, the little Magitech has found you. Come to rescue you. The little Magitech that could. Saying, come on, get on. So you throw Thancred on the back behind your seat there. Oh, Gaius survived. So, like any good anime or Japanese game ever, the bad guys are never truly dead when they die.
And so my conquest ends, Sid.
For the third time.
In smoke and ashes.
Can he make it? So we have Thancred in back there.
Hear, feel, think. Warrior of light, beloved son. The darkness hath fled before the unclosed brilliance of thy spirit. Yet it lingereth still beyond the sight of men, in forgotten corners of the world. In the depths of the abyss yet resideth the Dark One, watchful ever, till this evil be cast out. Never shall the world know aught but a passing peace. Yet for the present, a gentle light shineth o'er the realm of Eorzea.
Hyladin approves of this message.
With thee at its heart. From sparkling moat shall it swell to glorious sun, and all the world shall bask in its warmth.
You've saved Eorzea.
Blessings and joy be upon thee. Go forth, my child, and be as a beacon of hope for Eorzea and the lands beyond through all the days of thy life.
Mean I gotta do this the rest of my life? Save the planet? Well, yeah. It's a Warrior of Light's job. Okay. All of these folks, the Scions and the leaders of the 3 Eorzean nations, are waiting outside this castrum to see who's made it out. They're praying that Gab makes it out alive because they see this castrum is exploding.
He's still in there.
Cid, has there been no word?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Damnation!
He's going to make it, I know he is.
Ida is right. We must have faith.
Cid, can they not be evacuated aboard the Enterprise? That adventurer and the Scions are as the Warriors of Light reborn. We cannot abandon them to their fate. Not again.
I wholeheartedly agree, but flying into the midst of that would only add to the fireworks.
There must be something we can do.
Please, Mother Hydaelyn. Please light his way through the darkness.
Look into the light, my child. If thou would see thy companions return safe to thee, reach out to them now.
Minfilia has a special relationship with Hydaelyn. Hydaelyn has spoken to her and through her a few times throughout the campaign.
There!
Oh!
Almost out. Shades of the Millennium Falcon. Nice.
Yay! Our warrior of light.
Yes! The hero returns!
Look! Thancred is with him!
Thank the 12!
Thank Hydaelyn.
Welcome home.
And a little later, we're having a big party.
You almost got us killed that one time, remember?
Now, we both know that was your fault.
Thank the 12 we're safe.
Mind your horns there, man-bull.
Mayhap when you mind your manners.
Though the crystal that bound Thancred is no more, I doubt we can say the same of Lahabrea. And even if we could, we know that he is not alone. Confounded Ascians. Their god may be unknown to us, but their zeal is unquestionable. Suffice it to say, it would be folly to assume that they no longer pose a threat. Nevertheless,
Thancred's recovered.
for now we must savor what peace we have won, however ephemeral. Do you see, Grandfather? Our first step towards realizing the dream for which you gave your life.
We got this celebration going on.
Friends, the dread night of Imperial tyranny and Ascian machination is ended. A new day now begins in Eorzea.
True to their name, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, along with our champion, have delivered us from darkness.
Let their shared victory serve to remind us of our shared history. And let their bravery in the face of adversity inspire future generations.
Doubt not, the realm will need bravery in the days to come. Old rifts threaten to divide us within our walls, while hordes of beastmen claw at our gates. And though the Black Wolf be slain, the rest of the pack remains. Yet no foe need we fear, so long as we stand as one.
Remember, the Black Wolf was Gaius.
So long as the Scions stand for peace.
So long as our champion stands fast. For there exists no adversity over which we may not jointly prevail.
It has been but 5 short years since the Battle of Cartano. 5 years since the advent of the 7th Umbral Era. No victory, however sweet, can wash away our bitter sorrows. No triumph can reclaim those we lost. Yet do not presume you honor them by dwelling on the past. It was not the past they fought for. You would repay their sacrifice by looking to the future.
A future united, as the warriors of light united in the champion.
Now is the time for us to rise as one, bearing all of Eorzea on our shoulders.
5 years ago, Eorzea bore witness to the end of the 6th Astral Era. Now, the 7th Umbral Era draws to a close, yet we come together not to glory in its end, but to mark a new beginning.
Let it be writ that on this day, by the light of the crystal, Eorzea ushered in a new era.
The 7th Astral Era is come! And thus is ours a Realm Reborn!
Yay! Astral areas are eras of, peace, prosperity, all that. Umbral eras are usually times of strife and darkness, umbral meaning shadow, and, bad things happening, like, the calamity. Oh, he's having an echo vision. Now that doesn't look good.
What is it?
That roar. It can't be.
Did you hear that? There's no time to spare.
Where is it coming from?
Dread tidings! Chaos and carnage!
Oh my.
It is an abomination! A primal! A primal has awakened!
Meanwhile, in the Ascians' home cellar, jail cell, prison. Ashtaro says Bahamut stirs. Yeorn, as will the others ere long. Nabriella says, "'Tis not a question of whether Eorzea's champion shall lead, but of when."
We next starve Chemuv. They only cause the post-right ball.
Lahabrea, who survived. No surprise. With each passing moment, we draw closer to the reckoning. To the one true God. To Zodiarch. And thus did dawn break on a realm reborn. But where there is light, there is always shadow. The Archons have conducted a preliminary investigation into the origin of the roar that rang out during the celebration. Their findings strongly suggest that a new primal has appeared. The roar generated a distinctive wave pattern in the ether, a pattern observed only once before in history, 5 years ago to be precise. I should like to think it mere coincidence, yet we cannot discount that possibility. Well, I trust I need say no more. At great sacrifice, we have delivered Eorzea from the threat posed by the Empire and the primals, and thereby secured peace. We cannot well allow the realm to be plunged into chaos once more. You have given your all for our cause, risking life and limb on I know not how many occasions. Yet our struggle continues, and we need you now no less than before. Please continue to stand with us, and together we shall safeguard the future of the realm, of this very star. Flying unlocked. Hallelujah. Gav, it pleases me to see you well. Tatara says, "Do excuse me for interrupting. Gav, my lady, the gentleman from Ashgana Exports, has just left." I understand now why you didn't want to receive him. You did well, Tataru. Please inform the guards that we will not be receiving any further guests this evening. Thank you, my lady. Ever since we defeated Gaius von Belsar and destroyed his ultimate weapon, the eyes of the world have followed our every move, scarce remembering to blink. Where once we worked in secret, with precious few friends and all too many enemies, we are now besieged by benefactors, each one more eager than the last to offer us his complete support. A true embarrassment of riches. Of course, every promise of patronage comes with a price. They always do. We've completed a Realm Reborn, and now we are moving from the patch quest from 2.1 to 2.55. And that takes us through quite a bit of content, but I'm going to give you the highlights here. As no sooner have you been done saving the realm, basically, Leviathan shows up, so a huge primal. And it is your task to confront and defeat Leviathan here. Give you a little taste of what you see. It's just how powerful he is. And how huge he is. The ship's detaching from this platform because the platform is where you fight him. They'll come back for you. There's our bad boy. All right, here we go. The Leviathan was summoned by the desperate Sahagin, and you face the roaring tides and prevail once more. But beyond the waves, another storm has arrived. A shinobi from the Far East, from the nation of Doma. Shinobi named Yugiri leads a band of refugees because Doma has been invaded and then subsequently subjugated by the Garlean Empire. The Empire is completely taken over in another country. It's a fun little scene right before you see the arrival of the Domans.
Now then. Tis I. The situation may be more complicated than we anticipated.
So he's called Urianger on the Link Pearl.
Indeed, I shall remain watchful. Ere thou goest, another matter requireth thine attention. A young maiden, full eager.
Urianger, before you go, we got another problem on our hand. There's a chick who's eager to talk to you.
Wherefore inquirest thou of her fairness? Oh, very well. Be she damsel or devil, I shall direct her steps to Revenant's Toll.
So he's saying, Thancred, why are you asking me if she's hot? I'm sending her to you.
Save thine insinuations for one given to such impropriety. Thou shalt not find me amenable.
Save your hinting around for someone who misbehaves. You're not going to find me amenable. So what's happened is the Scions want to have more separation from Uldak because the Vesper Bay is located within the lands of Thanalan. And on top of it, it's been compromised. The Garlean Empire knows where they're located. So they need to find a new base of operations that they can work out of. And so they have gone north and established their new base in Mordona. So Urianger is going, what's all this about?
Far across the sea from the land of Doma have we traveled. We seek audience with the ruler of these lands. Who here speaks for you?
Everybody's looking around going, I don't know. Urianger is going, what's this? So the short story on all that is you go around to the three different leaders of the city-states, Admiral Murovib, Sultana Nanamo, and General Rauban, and Elder Seatsier Khan Esena, and you ask if any of them can take in these Doman refugees because they have no place to go. And they can't go home, right? It's across the sea. You find out they offer very little in the way of sanctuary because they already have their own refugee problems and beast tribe problems. So the Scions offer them sanctuary when the rest of Eorzea cannot. And basically because Revenant's Toll is an outpost frontier town, they offer space and, room and board in exchange for building Revenant's Toll out. Wish to aid Eorzea and its inhabitants in charting a course for the future. A wish that has now become my own. So basically what Elfino wants to do, and is actually successful in doing, is putting together a sort of grand company of grand companies, basically making a military branch of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn called the Crystal Braves. And he wants to be in command of this little mini army. And their goal is to be able to go anywhere that one of the grand companies of the three nation states can't go. Like, you can't send the flames into Gridanian or Vilbrand territory, right? Because that would be encroaching on somebody else's nation. But the goal is to let the Crystal Braves serve as the Scions' military arm so that when primal threats come up, they have a way to defeat them without having to pull on the other three nations quite so much. So he forms the Crystal Braves. He becomes a leader, the commander of the Crystal Braves, supposed to defend peace and order and protect Eorzea from primal threats. And at first, hope blooms as the Crystal Braves unearth a traitor to Ul'dah and help people throughout Eorzea. So this is Elfino's dream. I, too, will endeavor to take up the mantle of Guardian of Eorzea and champion these people who toil towards a better world. Our cause, however, is not a simple one. The troubles that plague us are of a scale that cannot be solved by the Scions of the Seventh Dawn alone. What is needed to tackle the root of the primal threat and effectively counter the schemes of the Ascians is a new, expanded organization that operates beyond the limitations of nations and borders. If you would aid me in building such an organization, then pray let us continue this discussion back within the walls of the Rising Stones. Yeah, Gav says, I'm on board with this one. Now make sure to talk to these people. Ida, I can't wait for Elfino to start his new company. I love making new friends. Y'shtola says, I fear Ida's boundless optimism is beginning to affect my better judgment, and your tendency to triumph against the most terrible of foes is certainly not helping matters. Thingrid, your bout with Harry Boulder was more stirring than 100 lines of my most passionate poetry. Mayhaps I should arrange a sparring match of my own. That's how to get the girls. I don't know. My husband wrote me quite a bit of poetry when he was courting me. It was a lot of fun. He's the romantic in the family. Tataru, no, this won't do it all. And then I'll have to... Oh, hello, Gav. If you don't mind, I'm terribly busy at the moment. Being a primarily military outfit, I mean to assuage fears of its misuse by placing the fledgling organization under the authority of the antecedent. The Scions work tirelessly to protect Eorzea and its people. But as you yourself have witnessed with the refugee revolt, there are limitations to what even we can achieve. With this new company under the Scions' command, however, we will be capable of responding to a wider range of difficulties without straining our resources or overtaxing your formidable talents. The goals of my proposed organization and those of the Scions are ultimately identical. So ultimately, Elfino is successful in gaining a few recruits from each of the grand companies, but most of the recruits are actually just, adventurers from around the land who are not part of any grand company or any military force within any of the three major city-states. And they're kind of, sellswords, maybe a few troublemakers, but Elfino finally puts together this grand company called the Crystal Braves. They even have their own uniforms. They're bright blue to avoid being seen as siding with any of the other houses, which are kind of a red, yellow, and greenish sort of coloring. So they have their own uniforms. At first, hope blooms as the Crystal Braves unearth a traitor to Ul'dah and help people throughout Eorzea. And then Ramuh, Primal of Judgment, tests them Ramuh has been summoned by the Sylphs, but Gav faces him not as an enemy, but as one being tested instead. And here I am wearing metal armor.
Betrays thee, servant of hiding. Thou art the bringer of light, bane of Ifrit, Titan, Garuda, and Leviathan. I am Ramuh, guardian of the children of the forest. Gridanians proffer peace. Their words are born of delusion, thine offer an insult.
So Ramuh puts you to a test, and you are ultimately successful. And you defeat Ramuh. Let's go to the next one. Alphino has pretty much successfully gotten Eorzea to kind of band together through the Crystal Braves. They've had some great successes against, various problems. So Alphino sets his sight north to Ishgard. He wants to encourage Ishgard to rejoin the Eorzean alliance, right? So he and Gav, your warrior of light, and returned to Camp Dragonhead in Kurthus to meet with the envoys from Ishgard, Sir Emmerich de Burrell, commander of the Temple Knights of Ishgard, and his second in command, Lucia. Alphino makes his case to Sir Emmerich for Ishgard to rejoin them. And you'll have to see in this scene how it plays out and enjoy the entrance of Sir Emmerich and Lucia to Final Fantasy XIV. They will have a large part in the Heavensward expansion. It's our friend Lord Horshavan again.
Have faith, my friend. You need only state your case with confidence and clarity.
Commander Leviathan, it is both an honor and a pleasure to meet you. I am Emmerich, Lord Commander of the Temple Knights.
Alphino Leveilleur, at your service. Your reputation precedes you, Sir Emmerich. I think we will find that we have much in common.
Speaking of reputations, yours towers over us all. Does it not?
Well, maybe just a little.
It does indeed, Lord Commander.
I am not too proud to admit that I have followed your activities with an interest bordering on fascination. Full glad was I to learn that you would be joining us. Now then, shall we begin?
We know full well that the Garleans will return in force ere long. What is more, we have yet to achieve a lasting victory over the primal menace. The beast tribes continue to summon their gods, and each incarnation is stronger than the last. Ishgard is not immune to these threats. I must reiterate that it would behoove your nation to rejoin the Eorzean alliance.
Once again, I must respectfully disagree.
On what grounds?
Despite their presence in Kurthus, the Ixal do not concern us. Their territorial claims pertain to Gridanian lands, and it is the people of Gridania whom they harry.
The Ixal are one of the beast tribes. They're the ones who are involved with summoning Garuda.
Consequently, The Holy See judges this to be a Gridanian affair, and Ishgard does not intervene in the internal affairs of other nations. Even were that not the case, our forces are wholly committed to the Dravanian conflict. We have not the knights to spare. As for the Garleans, we are not ignorant of history. We have observed the rise and expansion of the Empire, and we agree that it is only a matter of time before they resume their campaign in Eorzea.
Then surely it would be in our best interests to present a united front.
Mayhap one day, but not yet. Gaius van Belsar is dead, and the legion of conscripts he left behind lacks the will to fight. We think it highly unlikely that they will emerge from behind the walls of their castra for some time.
Forgive me, but if Ishgard's position has not changed, why did you agree to this meeting?
It was not only as a representative of Ishgard that I came here.
Pardon?
It is not within my power to change Ishgardian policy, regardless of my personal feelings. There is, however, one area in which I may exert a measure of influence.
One thing I need to point out here, because it'll have bearing on the rest of this conversation, is Kurthus, in House Fortin, one of the 4 high houses of Ishgard. Kurthus has been sending some supplies to Mordona to help take care of the Doman refugees. So House Fortin has largely been responsible for sending aid and supplies and whatever else they could to help the refugees out in Mordona, help rebuild Revenant's Toll.
Concerns have been raised over the supplies House Fortin has offered to Revenant's Toll. These have led to calls for restrictions on the provision of aid to foreign powers. I can ensure that the shipments continue unabated.
Sir Emmerich, we would be in your debt.
No, you would not, for I require something in exchange. Of late, there has been a flurry of Dravanian activity, the purpose of which was not immediately clear. However, our astrologians have since observed alarming changes in the heavens. The dragon star waxes unnaturally bright, and there are whispers that it portends the resurrection of Midgard-Sorma.
The fallen guardian of Silvertear Falls? That's absurd.
Full many times have I gazed upon the dragon's corpse still wound around the Agrius, and wondered how different our world might be if it yet lived to plague the skies. I do not know, and I do not wish to know, nor does any son of Ishgard. Yet the mere presence of Dravanian forces is not sufficient grounds to send knights to Mordona, whatever our astrologians say. As I told you before, we have not the forces to spare.
But we do. So you will intervene on our behalf if we agree to watch over the Keeper of the Lake.
Do you accept these terms?
I do. I will see that you are kept abreast of any developments.
This is a deal made by a teenager who has not had sufficient experience in politics, even though he's precocious and even though he's very diplomatic. He's seen diplomacy, obviously. This deal gave nothing to Alfino and his braves, but it gave Sir Emmerich, additional eyes on dragons in Silvertear Falls, north of Mordona. So Alfino got played there really well by somebody who's quite experienced in politics. So You kind of get the sense how Sir Emmerich is skilled in diplomacy and politicking as well as military affairs.
I regret that we could not come to a similar agreement on other matters, but I understand that you are not at liberty to make such decisions. Nevertheless, I hope that what we have accomplished here today will serve to demonstrate to your countrymen that we can work together towards a common goal. Mayhap one day we shall look back on this moment as the first step towards a united Eorzea.
Mayhap we shall, Commander.
What is the meaning of this?
Interrupting the meeting.
The caravan, my lord. It's been attacked. It was Iceheart, my lord. What? By the Fury? All our precautions were for naught?
Lady Iceheart, as you learn, is the leader of the heretics who are against Ishgard fighting dragons, right? They're pro-dragon, basically. Lady Iceheart is someone you're going to meet next, basically. You go around trying to figure out where these heretics are taking they're stealing supplies from all over the place. And you're trying to figure out where those supplies are going to, because you know they're getting used against the Ishgardians. So in the snow-swept lands of Kurthus, Gav meets Iceheart, a woman who becomes the primal Shiva through sheer will alone. She speaks of dragons' betrayal and a war that never ended, and then she disappears. The Scions have to track her down. You finally make it through Snowcloak, the tunnels up in one part of Kurthus, to figure out where the heretics and Lady Iceheart have gone. And you successfully locate her.
Their tales do not do you justice, warrior of light. Yes, I know who you are, and you know who I am. I was given the name Izel, but I earned the name Iceheart. This endless cycle of hatred, of bloodshed, of sorrow. You would see it continue, O noble warrior of light. I would not. I will not. I will bring an end to this war between dragon and man, no matter the cost. In time, you will come to understand that what we do for the greater good.
Many, many have said that over the long history of man. We do something evil for the greater good. Never ends well.
For Eorzea, for Hydaelyn.
She used that as an aetheryte to escape, right? Also interesting to note is that Lady Zale, or Iceheart, has the power of echo also. Hydaelyn is spoken through her, too. In fact, which may become more relevant in Heavensward. So they're on one side of the aetheryte, but they're not, the Scions are not attuned to the aetheryte that Lady Zale went to. So they have to find a way to get to there. And they call on a specialist in aetheryte technology, and her name is Moenbryda. Ordinarily, it would be a simple matter to tap into the established Ethernet and thereby follow our quarry. However, despite our best efforts, we have been unable to ascertain the position of the Aetherite to which she teleported. Our prevailing theory is that she destroyed the second Aetherite upon arrival, a reckless, desperate measure, but also an effective one. After discussing the matter at length with Urianger, we have concluded that we lack the expertise to develop a solution, which is why we have called upon the aid of one who does possess such expertise, a colleague of ours who is currently en route to Revenant's Toll from Charlian.
I bid you welcome to Revenant's Toll, and thank you for traveling so far on such short notice.
As if I could ever say no to Urianger.
Moenbryda is an accomplished Charlian scholar and an authority on Aetherite technologies. She has played an invaluable role in our search for a means to capture Ascian souls.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Moenbryda. Is that Tupsimati on the wall back there? I'm amazed you managed to find all the pieces after, well, you know. So she's talking about Tupsimati on the back wall. That is the staff that Louis Leviathan wielded during the descent of Dalamud. And that's the staff you see shatter in the trailers. And they've kept pieces of it. It's still a powerful artifact despite being broken.
Moon! Gods, it's been ages!
Oh, longer, sister.
Many of these folks have studied in Charlian. And so some of them have probably met Moenbryda before.
A joyous reunion indeed.
Well, of course it is. Moon and I are like twin sisters.
Save in appearance and aptitude.
Oh, Iceburn Papalimo.
Everyone, if I could have your attention. We have with us an esteemed guest who has come from Charlian to assist us. I bid Moenbryda join us here that she might share with us her extensive knowledge of Aetherites. Also, as many of you are already aware, she has been overseeing our research into white auracite, a sample of which she has been good enough to bring with her.
Well, I had to come, didn't I? You'd have to be bloody daft to turn your nose up at a chance like this. Where better to conduct my final tests than a land so steeped in ether you can taste it?
'Tis plain the passage of the years hath done little to dampen thy youthful spirits.
So Moenbryda and Urianger were best friends in Charlian. You wouldn't expect it of Urianger being the quiet type that he is, but they were best friends.
And nothing at all to reform thy youthful manner.
Urianger, where in the hells have you been hiding?
Unhand me.
Kicks him
Come
up.
all this way, and that's what you have to say to me. I much preferred when you were pleading with me to drop everything and hurry to your side. What was it you said? None save thee can satisfy this need.
Oh my.
Go on.
Thank
Thine artless attempts to misrepresent mine all too innocent motives do thee little credit. Mine intent, as well thou knowest, was but to impress upon thee the gravity of the circumstance. Lest thou doubt, a deiform entity shall shortly be summoned, save if thou and no other grantest my compeers thine aid.
You still haven't found it then, your missing aetherite?
We have not. No. We know that Iceheart teleported to an aetherite not far from the first. Yet even after careful analysis, we could not locate the second beacon. We now suspect that the heretics destroyed the second aetherite to impede our pursuit. Our allies continue to scour Snowcloak for Iceheart's sanctuary, but we have no guarantee that they will find it. Yet it must be found, for even now Iceheart prepares to call upon Saint Shiva.
I'm sorry, but if the aetherite's been destroyed, then that's that. Although, you're absolutely sure she used the first aetherite, are you? She didn't just use teleportation magics?
One of our own bore witness to her escape. I can say with absolute certainty that Iceheart used the aetherite.
In that case, there might be a way, so long as the ethereal current is still flowing.
Truly? How?
We use the current to recreate the beacon.
They go on to describe how, you know, the mechanics of finding this second aetherite, and ultimately you're successful. You teleport in to find Lady Zale. You're there to prevent the summoning of Shiva.
You should never have come here, warrior of light. I labor only to forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down. We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance. Partake of my flesh. Fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more. Oh, Saint Shiva, still the hatred within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
So now you have to fight Shiva. And ultimately you are successful and defeat Shiva. Well, somebody gave me a comment. That's sweet. Thank you to whoever did it.
Fool. Blind, bloody fool. You, of all people, should understand the suffering war begets. That no sacrifice is too great if it brings an end to the violence. Mine is the righteous cause. You fight in a war you do not understand. A pawn of liars and schemers.
Using violence to stop violence is, you know, makes no logical sense, but it's something that's been employed for since the dawn of man, basically.
And they are no less ignorant than you, following the creed of their fathers without question, never thinking to ask why. Trapped in a delusion of their own creation, and blind to the truth. Warrior of Light, redemption is not beyond us. We who walk before may lead those who walk after. Seek the Keeper of the Lake. See with eyes unclouded. Do not squander Mother's gift.
And so the vessel withdraws, a predictable outcome. Nevertheless, Lahabrea will be pleased. How unfortunate.
That's a new Ascian. It's Nabrialis. Meanwhile, might be a little trouble brewing in Ulda. You never know.
I have heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Roban. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace.
Ooh.
Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo unamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
Moenbryda says, all done with your talk of dragons. Wonderful, because Ascians are next on the menu. Let's head into the solar, shall we? Moenbryda is brilliant, fierce, loud, and a very dear friend to Urianger. She offers to help the Scions find Lady Iceheart, and after successfully dealing with the primal Shiva, she works on a solution to defeat Ascians once and for all. White Auracite. Give us some good news, Moenbryda.
Now that everything's calmed down a bit, relatively speaking, I mean, I thought it might be a good time to share our progress on the weapon. I believe we're on the verge of a breakthrough.
And here we're catching up with Moenbryda. She's gathering some ether to fuel the White Auracite. She has a nice little conversation with you.
Hold on, I won't be a second. The beast seemed peckish, so I gave it a taste of my axe. I know, as Urianger never tires of reminding me. An axe ill becometh the hand of a scholar. What can I say? I like axes. To hear my mother tell it, I came into this world holding one. And it's not as if it stops me picking up a quill, is it? I often think of the man who introduced me to the joys of learning. He's one of the reasons I decided to come to Eorzea. Him and my excruciatingly stiff childhood friend. Considering how unalike we are, it's a wonder we ever got on. The world's a strange old place, isn't it? Aye, that ought to do it.
So what she's doing is pulling ether from corrupted crystals.
So far, so good. At these concentrations, it shouldn't matter too much if something goes awry. Just enough ether to make it interesting.
Famous last words, right?
Did you see that? The way the crystal glowed?
Never call an experiment interesting.
The siphon works, I'm happy to say. With a few refinements, it should satisfy our appetite for ether, which just leaves the small matter of forging our blade. I'm not sure how to go about it just yet, but I swear to find a way. I'll put a blade in your hands if it's the last thing I do.
She's talking about a blade of light.
He senses me. A useful talent.
An Ascian. Are they onto us?
By your brand, I see you are an Archon of Garlean, keeper of knowledge, seeker of truth. Meddler.
I don't know what the hell's you're saying, but I don't much like your tone.
Your instincts serve you well. But come, be not unsettled on my account. That lovely brow was not made for frowns. But I waste my breath. Let me direct my words to one who understands them. We meet at last, warrior of light. I am Nabriales. And you have long been a thorn in my side. I suffered the overweening presence of Lahabrea that men might host the power of gods, only for you to undo my hard work.
Oh, bugger.
Do settle down. You must concede that I acted in self-defense. But what's this? I do not sense the blessing of light.
Uh-oh. We're in trouble.
Oh, dear. Could it be that frail Hydaelyn has forgotten her champion? This I did not foresee. Shorn of light as you are no longer a threat. And better yet, the seal is broken.
The seal between the Void and their world. Lahabrea had no chance to tell any of the other Ascians that the Warrior of Light has lost the blessing of light.
Now is the time to claim the staff. With it in my grasp, I shall rise above them all and take my place at Lord Zodiac's right hand.
They finally name who they're really trying to release, and it's Lord Zodiac.
What did that bastard want with us? Nabriales, he calls himself. With charm like that, I'll bet he has maidens falling at his feet. Unconscious. But this staff, You say just talking about it had the bastard grinning like a brat on his name day. Must be quite a staff. Oh, gods. He means Tupsimati, Master Louis Soir's staff. Minfilia's in danger. We have to get back to the Rising Stones.
So, you were able to divine my intent. What now, warrior of light? Ah, but that name is no longer fitting. You have become decidedly dull, and quite incapable of barring my entry.
What do you mean?
You truly do not know? Then I suppose it is only right that I enlighten you. The blessing of light kept you and your fellow meddlers safe. It was that which prevented my kind from entering your domain. My kind, I say, though it had no power over the likes of Elidibus and Lahabrea. Being of this world, they could come and go as they please, while I could only look on.
But she still has the blessing of light. He shouldn't be able to be here then.
But I need look no longer. Now that the seal is gone, I mean to act. Unlike the others, I am not given to waiting. I shall take that staff and bring about the next rejoining.
The rejoining he's referring to would mean rejoining all 13 shards of the planet back together to the original single one that they had, eons ago. Apparently, Minfilia's lost her blessing of light too.
Rejoining? Then it was your doing. The Isle of Val, the scholars, all of it.
You will not harm her!
Moenbryda!
Why must you insist on forcing my hand? Did you learn nothing from our last meeting? Ah, but I forget. My words fall upon deaf ears.
The staff is but a broken relic, a memorial to the departed. What possible use could you have for it?
What use? You mean to say that all this time you kept the key, never knowing what it was you possessed? The staff Tupsimati, or rather the stone tablet it bears, is host to a great power. Together with the horn, it can be used to draw vast quantities of ether from its bearer's surroundings. How else do you think Louis Soir was able to invoke the power of the 12 without making them an offering of crystals? Summoning requires not only prayer, but a profusion of ether. Even a child knows that.
If you can summon the 12, like you can primals, that's a very interesting thought.
If I did not know before, you may be certain I do now. But above all, I know that we cannot allow this staff to fall into your hands. I will die before I let you take it.
Insufferable woman. I would happily end your miserable life here and now. Alas, Elidibus would never let me hear the end of it. Very well. If you will not part with the staff, I will take you too.
Uh-oh.
After them! Quickly! Before the rift closes!
You complete the trial and you are able to rescue Minfilia. Alright, cutscene here.
You're safe. Thank the 12.
You may have bested me this day, but what of the next? What of all the days to come?
Die, you son of a bitch. Die.
Remember, light no longer holds sway here. I may return whensoever I wish, again and again and again. Eventually, you will falter, and the staff will be mine. Until next time, Scions.
There will be no next time. This is the end.
Wait, Orsite is absorbing his essence.
What? What trickery is this? No. No! Cannot! No!
Use Tube Samati to gather ether. Quickly, before he breaks free.
Okay, why doesn't she pick it up and do that? The only reason I can think of is she's maybe out of ether after being kidnapped. I don't know.
Concentrate. Call to mind the time you struck down Lahabrea with the Blade of Light. Why won't it work? Is it because we lack the blessing of light?
Damn it. So much ether. And it still isn't enough.
Fools! No mortal prison can contain me! I shall make you pay for your insolence!
Please, Mother Heidelin, hearken to our plea. Lend us your divine light. Why can you not hear us? Do our words no longer reach you?
If only we had a bit more ether.
Moenbryda, what are you doing?
Master Louis, I understand now the choice you made. In death, there is life. Farewell, Urianger. You daft old coot.
Moenbryda! No! You mustn't!
What? No! It cannot end! I am eternal! I am immortal!
Moenbryda. She's gone.
What she did was give the last of her ether.
You did it, my friend. The Ascian is dead. This device is a legacy of Moenbryda's toils and sacrifice. I shall hold on to it for safekeeping.
Minfilia, are you all right?
I am.
Yeah, I feel that way too. It's like, oh my god. I think the older you get, the harder it hits too. Because you've seen more death over time. And while it's, death is part of the cycle of life, it's still painful when somebody leaves. I would hate to be the one who had to tell Urianger. Oh my god.
Oh, we were surveying northern Thanalan when we received the distress call. We returned as swiftly as we were able.
It seems you have everything in hand, however.
What happened here? Where is Moenbryda?
She gave her life to temper the Blade of Light. I have no words.
Rather than await the inevitable, she took her fate into her own hands.
Does Urianger know?
I think she was mortally wounded by the Ascians' attack and knew that she might not survive, and that's why she made the sacrifice she made.
My friend, there is something I must tell you.
I heard all, my lady. The moon sinketh, taking her leave of the heavens, yet her passing heraldeth the coming of a new day. Moenbryda hath fulfilled her destiny, hath she not? Long ago, far across the seas in the Garlean motherland, Moenbryda and I did study under the sage tutelage of Master Louisoix. Full oft did he impress upon us that knowledge existeth to serve the greater good. This sentiment, however, was contrary to the nation's policy of neutrality, which censured intercedence in the affairs of foreign lands. In spite of vehement opposition, he founded the Circle of Knowing, and journeyed hither to the heart of Eorzea. Through his noble sacrifice, was the realm spared its doom. Yet this great soul, whom all should rightly have honored, was branded a pariah in his own land. His peers did accuse him of forsaking his duty as a man of learning, and of meddling in the course of history. When he left Garlean behind, Master Louisoix gave no word to signal his intent to Moenbryda. Close as they were, as master and disciple, she was deeply wounded by the sudden exclusion from his confidence. Above all, however, she was confused. Try as she might, she could ill comprehend her master's motive. The slanders that were heaped upon him after his passing served only to inflame the turmoil within her. For years upon end, she knew not what to believe. Torn as she was twixt the man whom she revered and the man who forsook her and his duty both.
The Louisoix I knew would never forsake his duty, much less one of his own.
This I know full well, my lady. 'Twas not for want of love that Master Louisoix hid his intent. He but desired that Moenbryda discover her own path, free of the shadow of his influence. Long did I contemplate revealing the truth to her, and long did I hold my peace. After all, was it not Master Louisoix's wish that she come to the truth unaided? I told myself it was, and resolved to let her suffer. Knowingly did I deny my friend the comfort she craved. And now she hath gone to her rest, with doubt still in her heart.
Poor Urianger.
Speakest thou in earnest? Did Moenbryda truly come to understand Master Louisoix's will before the end? The realization hath set her free. She may now find the peace which hath for so long eluded her. Oh, Moenbryda, my dearest, how I shall miss thee.
Moenbryda gave her life that we might possess the means to defeat the Ascians. Her sacrifice must not be in vain. Let us continue her work on the Blade of Ether and see it to completion.
My lady, I would mourn Moenbryda in mine own way. I beg your permission to return to the Waking Sands.
Of course, my friend. Take all the time you require. We shall be here should you have need of us.
A victory won, a comrade lost. To honor the fallen, the living forge ever on towards the light of a new day. So, meanwhile, on the bridge leading into Ishgard, heretics are attacking the Ishgardians. And Lady Ishgard is at the forefront.
The sons must answer for their father's misdeeds. Only then will the cycle be broken. Brothers and sisters of the heavens, we raise voices and join you in the chorus. The sinner's feeble magics are undone. Come, claim your retribution.
So what you did there was there's wards that surround Ishgard to keep dragons out. She's broken at least 2 of the 4. Possibly all 4, but I think it's 2 of the 4. 'Tis reassuring indeed to behold the countenance of a friend when one's homeland teeters upon the very brink of disaster. Though a single misstep could send us plunging into the abyss, your heroic presence stokes the flames of courage within my heart. Ah, but you did not come to Dragonhead to listen to my prattling. The Lord Commander has arrived and would treat with you in the intercessory. Sir Emmerich has come back to Dragonhead and contacted Elfino and the Warrior of Light to ask for aid because they don't have enough soldiers to hold off the Dravanian dragons with some of the wards gone from around the city. Oh, in the meantime, the little mini pet Midgard Stormer reminded me. You went to Silvertear Peak where Midgard Stormer was supposed to be kind of waking up from his long, torpor, right? And you find out that he was one of the original dragons that came to this world. And Nidhogg lost an eye in a battle with the Ishgardians. And now he is, Nidhogg's fury knows no bounds. And he is the chief dragon who is fueling all the anger in the Dravanian dragons, fights. He's stirring them up, basically. Greetings, sir. Shall I show you inside? Yeah. No, I think I want to stand here in the cold. Talk to him through the door. He doesn't look too happy there, does he? Ishgard's future hangs in the balance. If the city's salvation rests on our assistance, I cannot well withhold it. Even so, I mean to make Sir Emmerich sweat for his reinforcements on this occasion. Feigned disinterest may serve the cause of Eorzean unity better than naked philanthropy. I thank you for coming with such haste and apologize for my absence. Suffice it to say, Lady Iceheart and her heretics have much to answer for. Elfino says, yes, we are but recently returned from the Gates of Judgment ourselves. Given the circumstances, we quite understand if you would prefer to postpone our appointed audience. On the contrary, Master Alfino, I think it more important than ever that this meeting take place. Rest assured, I shall return to my post on Ishgard's walls the moment our business is concluded. Before we move on to the subject of reinforcements, however, I would introduce you to a close friend and stalwart ally, Estinian. Like that glint off the tip of his spear. May I present to you Ishgard's Azure Dragoon? Alfino says, an impressive title, though I confess I know precious little of the Order of Dragoons. Emmerich says, they are formidable warriors all, yet even among such masters of the lance, Estinian is without equal. He, out of all the warriors of Ishgard, was chosen to wield the power of dragons, and may thus contend with any Dravanian. Estinian, you flatter me overmuch, Lord Commander. If ever I was without equal, I am no longer, as my fellow Azure Dragoon here will attest. Be at ease, Gav. I did not come to challenge you this day. That's in reference to one of the Dragoon job quests where you actually encounter Istinian. Emmerich. Well, now that we have all been introduced, let us proceed to the matter at hand. I would share with you what we have learned of Iceheart's design, as confessed by the heretics taken captive after the assault on the gates. 'Twould seem that Lady Iceheart and the Dravanians share a common goal, the reclamation of Nidhogg's stolen eye. Nidhogg, one of the 7 great worms. His name features prominently in your nation's history. Though once defeated by the hero Haldreth, the beast is said to have terrorized Kurthus since Ishgard's founding. Emmerich, aye. Many are the scars our walls bear from Nidhogg's relentless efforts to raise the city. The trophy Haldreth plucked from the bested worm's skull, known simply as the Eye, is a treasured relic of Ishgard and one possessed of untold power. Should it ever be returned to Nidhogg, the dread creature will be restored to the height of his strength, and then no wall or ward we could erect would be stout enough to deny him. Voice of Midgard's Stormer. My vengeful son hath waged war against Ishgard for 1,000 years. No mortal mind could comprehend the depths of his rancor. Emmerich. The eye itself is secreted deep within the vault. It is kept under heavy guard, surrounded at all times by men and women who have proved their loyalty to the Holy See. Yet, those stout walls and sharp blades may suffice to discourage the heretics. The dragons are another matter. There are individuals within the Dravanian horde whom an entire company of knights would labor to repel, to say nothing of Nidhogg himself. Istinian. Nor does age rob them of their strength. Through the endless march of years, the dragons endure, patient, calculating, inexorable. You must understand these creatures do not share a perception of time. That is especially true of the great worms. They who spend centuries in slumber only to wake and resume their campaign as if mere hours had passed. Emmerich. It has been 20 years since Nidhogg last darkened our skies. 20 years for him to gather his strength and for us to bolster our defenses. And now, just as he seems primed to return, the heretics strike at the gates. Elfino says, You believe that Lady Iceheart is in league with the creature, then? Of that, we cannot be certain. Though we know the heretics covet the eye, we have been unable to determine their plans for it. Such questions aside, we must needs address the ragged hole their mistress has seen fit to rend in Ishgard's protections. 'Tis a weakness the Dravanians are not like to leave untested. So it would seem. You have described your plight in admirable detail, Lord Commander. Yet I cannot help but wonder at your candor. Why share such sensitive information with us? It's a very good question, actually. Why is he telling us about the eye and where it's located in the vault and all that? I shall speak plain. Ishgard has need of allies, and I would have you bolster our front lines in readiness for the coming battle against the dragons. This much I expected. Unlike our arrangement concerning the Keeper of the Lake, however, only you stand to benefit from our assistance in this matter. I fail to see why we should intervene in a conflict which concerns only Ishgard and Dravania. When the Eorzean Alliance requested Ishgard's assistance during Operation Archon, you refused us. Does it not seem grossly unjust to demand that we now risk our lives in your private war? Emmerich says, I make no attempt to defend my country's conduct. I only ask that you consider what would follow were Ishgard to fall. Having razed our city to the ground, the horde would have little cause to linger, and most would return to their lairs in Dravania. Soon thereafter, the ruins of Kurthus would be buried in snow, and the land would become the sole province of beasts and beastmen. Until the Garlean's arrival, that is. For you may be certain that the Empire would not hesitate to claim Kurthus. They would not even have to draw steel. An imperial province sharing a border with Mordona? 7 hells. Very well, we'll assist you in repelling the dragons. The roar of a great worm may have shaken the firmament, but we of Eorzea will not abandon our Ishgardian brothers to face the coming horde alone. Emmerich says, nor did I ever think you would. Now, upon the matter of the roar. Istinian. Allow me, Sir Emmerich. Through the power of the Eye, I have become the vessel of Nidhogg's strength. His essence has stolen into my very blood. Fear not. I am in full control of my faculties, I assure you, and the Eye itself is of no relevance to this tale. It is not essential that I bear it with me wheresoever I go. Its lingering influence does, however, allow me to hear Nidhogg's voice. Elfino, then the worm who roared was Nidhogg Eye. He means to hurl his horde against Danifin's collar and shatter the remaining wards that protect the city. There can be no doubt the worm has summoned his minions to war. Oh, let's see what these two, if they have anything else to share with us. I am painfully aware of the hypocrisy of our request and the self-inflicted nature of our predicament. But should it serve to deliver my people from their unkind fate, gladly shall I bow my head and beg for aid. I expect, nay welcome, the coming storm of scorn and disdain. Nidhogg, he is the source of our suffering. If we do not fell the worm, these endless clashes count for naught. Elfino says, though the circumstances are far from ideal, this desperate endeavor will at least provide us an opportunity to bring the sister states of Eorzea together in common cause. Sir Emmerich was more ruthless in his negotiations than I had anticipated. I suppose one must give no quarter when one's home is at stake. But did you see the look on his face when he formally requested our assistance? Though the Lord Commander has long campaigned for Ishgard to open its gates to outsiders, I suspect this softening of the Holy See's attitude towards foreign cooperation comes as something of a bittersweet victory. The days ahead promise to be interesting indeed. Sir Emmerich has formally made his request. So the Scions, along with the Crystal Braves, pledge their support. The Eorzean Alliance, they send token forces, being unable and unwilling to commit full armies to Ishgard's defense. The Warrior of Light, the Scions, the Crystal Braves, and what little other help they're able to secure join the Ishgardians on the bridge to Ishgard. It's a hard fight. Oh, he's big. My goodness. We claim victory this day or Ishgard falls. Accept the fury into your heart and defend this bridge with your life's blood. Can we do it before they lose their resolve? We got it. We almost got it. We did it. I guess we don't have joy in that one. The dragons, they are withdrawing. Victory is ours. One of Nidhogg's greatest champions, slain. The Horde will not soon recover from this blow. But what of you, Nidhogg? Why did you not join your minions and make of this battle a slaughter? Have you grown so fond of the stench of your lair? Mayhap you prefer to have your allies fight your battles for you. You have a girl to do your bidding now, do you not? No matter, I shall slay Iceheart and all the rest. Yet I yearn to spill the blood of a great worm, Nidhogg, and only your death will sate my lance. You'll find out why in Heavensward. We're coming towards the end here, and you're going to see a good number of cutscenes because they just tell the story better than I can, frankly. And I'll kind of talk through some of it to kind of explain some of what's going on. In Ulda, the Sultana invites the leaders of Eorzea and Ishgard, the Scions, and the Crystal Braves to celebrate the victory over the Dravanian horde. Secretly, she prepares to make a change in the ruling of the city-state of Ulda, and one of Ulda's highest-ranking monetarist nobles, Adeleji, learns of this and plots. Most of the Scions, the leaders of the Crystal Braves, and the three Eorzean leaders attend the banquet, along with Sir Emmerich and Lucia as Ishgard's representatives. But before the celebration can even start, the Sultana has news for Gav that she would talk with him alone about, and the firestorm erupts after that. Everybody's celebrating the victory Ishgard had over the Dravanians. You can see the three city-state leaders talking with Sir Emmerich.
Everyone looks to be in high spirits.
With good cause.
A common victory may serve to unite even the most unlikely of allies. You've brought us one step closer to a united Eorzea.
Your modesty knows no bounds, antecedent. Were it not for your efforts, Sir Emmerich would never have become such a steadfast ally. When he convinces his countrymen to rejoin the Alliance, we shall all reap the benefits, military and economic. I tell you, we are on the cusp of a new era of unity and prosperity. Territorial disputes are all that divide us now. But I have faith that we will find an amicable solution in time.
Spoken like a true teenager who is inexperienced in the world. Alfino is extraordinarily intelligent. He's prodigy, child prodigy, but he still has a lot to learn about politicking.
And failing that, I'll have my trusty warrior of light box the ears of all concerned. Speaking of whom...
He will be joining us shortly. A matter at the quicksand required his attention, but it did not sound serious.
Do you have anything else? I don't know about you, but if the Sultana summoned me for a private meeting, I'd be practicing my curtsy on the Royal Promenade by now. Ow! I like Momodi. Upon proceeding to the Sultana's bedchamber, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. A lot of time. Give yourself a lot of time. But enjoy them. This is great.
Enter. Your Grace, your guest has arrived. Pray, come in and take your ease.
Yeah, we at the city,
Tis
leaders
well
of the
that the
city-states.
steps of faith held against the Horde.
And what of the city proper?
We sustained some few losses, but the heart of our nation yet beats with vigor. I am not certain I could say the same had we not received your most generous aid.
An attack on Ishgard is an attack on the realm. We stand together or fall divided.
Such noble words after the fact.
I had hoped to speak in the presence of her grace, but it seems she has been delayed. That being the case, now would seem as good a time as any. Honored friends, pray allow me to convey Ishgard's warmest gratitude for your part in the defense of our lands. Tis upon the success of this very alliance that my recommendation to throw open the gates of judgment shall be founded. With the blessing of the Archbishop, it is my hope that Ishgard will soon be reunited with her long-estranged sister nations, and that Eorzea shall once more be as one.
Very well.
Is Artemis?
Nothing to worry about. I shall return anon. You wished a word, Yu Hase?
Uh-oh.
You may go. Your Grace. You must be curious as to the reason for this private audience. The matter I would discuss, however, will soon make apparent the need for discretion. I intend to abdicate the throne and dissolve the monarchy.
That's a big step.
You have seen for yourself the storm of turmoil that howls through our streets. The government fails in its responsibilities, and my subjects suffer the consequences of our incompetence. But I will see them suffer no longer. The victory feast shall provide the stage on which I declare the dissolution of the Sultanate. 'Tis mine intent that the ruling class of our golden city should take its place beside the common man in a fair and equitable republic. No more shall this nation bow to the whims of a privileged few.
Her abdication doesn't seem to be as secret as she probably thinks it is. Because Teleji Adeleji is like planning something, and I don't think he would do that if she weren't thinking about abdication.
Yet, that which I propose will entail the tearing up of this city's very foundations. And even Roban, with all his strength and influence, will be hard-pressed to keep his footing on such treacherous ground. Thus would I ask you to lend him a steadying hand. You who have endured the wrath of innumerable foes are the one hero in whom I can place my trust. Will you do this thing for me? I am truly grateful. More grateful than I can well express. Much of my dread for the coming days has been quieted.
Oh no. Oh dear.
Your Grace!
Huh. How convenient of him to show up right then.
Her Grace, the Sultana, is dead.
How does he even know that?
Poison in her wine?
Oh, and he can discern that just by looking at a wine glass on the ground? Sure.
You did this!
Spare us your denials! I see no other suspects, and the room has but the one entrance. I hereby accuse you of regicide. Men, arrest this viper.
trap's been sprung.
Sir, barring a few exceptions, we have detained all those with allegiance to the Scions. The Rising Stones is also under our control.
And what do you hope to achieve with this mutiny?
Why, that which we have striven for all along, Commander. The salvation of Eorzea.
Revolution.
What is the meaning of this?
Knights from the homeland. This cannot bode well.
Lord Commander, we have received an urgent message from the Holy See. I am grieved to report that your serpentine foes have resumed their assault. Needless to say, your presence is urgently required. These knights have come to bear you swiftly home to Ishgard.
A surprise attack?
We've had no such word from our men, and the timing is most fortuitous to catch us away from the city.
Most fortuitous indeed.
Sir Emmerich obviously has more experience in politics. He's going, wait a minute, I haven't heard anything. So he's going, and Taleji is the one bringing this news to me. He obviously is excusing us from the party.
Lord Commander, we must away.
Now, I don't know if those are his knights or not.
You have been a most gracious host. I hope that I might one day return the favor.
That is a most acid response. You can see he's not saying it with a smile at all. So sarcasm is thick there. I hope that I might return the favor someday. Oh. I missed that the first time around.
Come, Lucia.
And he knows Taleji is involved somehow. Thancred. Finds a girl, of course.
Whatever is going on in there? Ah, the ever-dutiful brass blades. I must apologize, but my dance card is rather full. Another time, perhaps?
Thancred, of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. You stand accused of committing acts of espionage in service to the Garlean Empire.
Espionage? What in the seven hells are you talking about? Ah, if you're referring to that business with the Ultima weapon, then you must understand, I wasn't myself.
Under interrogation, an Imperial prisoner revealed your involvement in numerous dealings with the enemy. We've also been investigating reports that you are a practitioner of forbidden arts. You'd best come along with us.
You invite me to your party and now you want me to leave? I do so detest receiving mixed signals. Come then. I believe I've lost my appetite for this farce of a celebration.
It's all going downhill very quickly.
You go too far, Lord Adeleji. By what right do you march armed soldiers into a royal banquet and eject state visitors without her grace's consent? You treat the brass blades as your personal army and show contempt for the throne with your every act. Leave us, now.
Is that an order, General? Mayhap you have mistaken me for one of your flames. You will find I am not so slavishly obedient. As you lecture me on personal armies. As for your outrageous claim that I have shown contempt for the throne, let all here observe that it was not I who feasted while an assassin removed its occupant. I expect this is your idea of defending the nation, is it? This and diluting our forces through these distractions in Cartano and Kurthus. I do begin to see how the ranks of the Immortal Flames came to be riddled with Garlean sympathizers. You are plainly unfit for command.
Wait, goddamn you. Your words make no sense. What assassin?
You mean to say you don't know? We caught the vaunted champion of the Scions in her Grace's private chambers, not moments after the deed was done.
No! No, this cannot be!
Save your breath. You will need it to plead your case. You and your entire order are to be tried for this atrocity.
Do they really think they could keep the Scions in a jail?
Bring in the prisoner!
Ilber's involved too. He's one of the traitors.
This man stands accused of poisoning Her Royal Majesty Nanamo Ul Namo, and as suspected accessories to the crime, all members of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn will be detained for questioning.
Keep in mind that Ilberd here is supposedly Alfino's second in command. So the rot went up to the very highest ranks, and Alfino never saw it.
This is madness!
What a pity. Who'd have thought your tale would end like this?
Should you demand further proof, a vial with traces of the substance used to poison her grace was found upon the assassin's person.
How very convenient.
Yes, it is.
You would speak of convenience? Who persuaded her grace to host this celebration? A diversion which presented you and your confederates ample opportunity to commit the crime, and a crowd within which to fade from view. A more convenient occasion I could scarcely imagine.
How dare you! After all we have done for Uldar!
Hold your tongue, witch! I'll not be ensorcelled! I know all about the dark gift that you and your disciples wield. Oh, yes. I've observed how you worked upon the minds of the Alliance leaders, bending them to your will.
Never did any such thing.
And what of your cordial relationship with Sir Emmerich? For years, Ishgard abjured all contact with the outside world, and now the Lord Commander of the Temple Knights treats you with the familiarity of a childhood friend.
To be fair, I would love to have a cordial relationship with Sir Emmerich.
I'll tell you what I think. I think this desperate defense of Ishgard was but a ruse to deceive us into dividing our forces. Your next move will be to charm your Kurthan allies into invading our lands. Now that is truly ridiculous.
How do you even think of this stuff?
She cannot be dead. Stand aside, Ilbert. I want to see the Sultana.
Spare yourself the pain, brother. I saw her with my own eyes. For a mercy, the poison took her swiftly. Her handmaiden can attest to that.
This cannot be. Nanamo. No!
He and Nanamo always had a very platonic, not romantic, but a very special relationship. I think he sort of took the place of her father when she was orphaned.
Can no longer be relied upon to keep our nation safe. And so it falls to the monitorists of the Syndicate to govern Uldar.
Of course.
But should you wish to help us, General, we would be more than happy to entrust the task of planning Her Grace's funeral to you.
Oh, bastard. Let's just rub in salt.
It seems only right that you should bury your precious Sultana, and we will be glad to be rid of that burden.
I'll bet you will. You more than any man.
Whatever do you mean?
I mean you had her killed, you black-hearted bastard!
What rot! Though I did have sufficient motive, 'tis true. That young lady caused me no end of grief. She always was a most unwilling puppet. I dare say Her Grace was grateful that someone thought to cut her strings.
You would mock her, then mock her from hell!
What?
All right, Raubon, good job. Ooh.
Have you lost your mind, General? It is forbidden to draw steel in the royal chambers, much less slaughter our fellow syndicate members.
Yeah, he's... Yeah.
You're one of them. You've been in league with the Scions all along.
Oh, not you too, Lolorito.
You're next, you scheming bastard!
Oh my.
Oh, Rabong!
7 hells!
Now we know who really was paying for Ilbert's services. It was Lolorito all along.
Admiral, we must leave.
Their soldiers are right to get their leaders out of there because it was escalating into a bloodbath. And these soldiers you know, their retainers, basically, their guards, need to protect these leaders because losing all three would be a horrible thing for Eorzea.
How unlike you, old friend. I did not expect to take your arm so easily.
Oh, Beard's such a bastard.
Take the Scions into custody. They have conspired to commit regicide. And arrest this traitor as well.
I'm amused that they think they can keep him in jail. It's like, they're the superheroes of the realm.
I hope you choke on their coin.
'Tis better than the dirt I've supped on these long years. We can't all abandon Alamigo and become great war heroes as you have.
Alamigo was Raubon's homeland, and the Garlean Empire invaded Alamigo and took it over. And you find out more about that in Stormblood.
You are not the man you once were, Raubon. Since that girl strapped the yoke around your neck, you've become docile. She took the mad bull and cut off his balls, and a bull that cannot rot is fit for naught but slaughter. Shall I tell you who really killed your precious Sultana? It was me.
You die!
Suspended there in air.
I never doubted you, not for a moment. But there is more to this than I yet understand. Flee this place. Clear your names. Find out who is behind this plot. It is the only way. Now go!
Ah, there you are.
Thancred, where have you been?
Avoiding the fumbling advances of some very persistent admirers. When I realized the celebrations had turned sour, it seemed prudent to slip away and take stock of the situation. 'Twould appear that much of the city is already under tight guard. It occurs to me that expanding the Brass Blade's authority may not have been such a wonderful idea after all.
The success of this plan was contingent upon those thugs having the run of the place. Just how long has this scheme been in motion?
Quite a while.
The careful preparations, the maneuvering of forces.
I am inclined to agree with the General's insistence that a deeper plot exists here.
So, would I be right in thinking we now have an excuse to pummel as many brass blades as we like?
Unless you plan on pummeling them all, I'm not sure that will greatly aid our cause.
The Sultana's assassination was but one part of the scheme. We too were its targets. And though we did not share poor Nanamo's fate, we are yet hobbled by the charges laid at our door. Where now might we seek refuge?
Where indeed, we may safely assume that our foe is thought to have the Rising Stones watched.
Forgive me for stating the obvious, but our choice of destination will matter little if we cannot secure an escape route out of Ulda. Happily, I believe I can provide one. Papa Shan once told me about the passages hidden in the walls of the palace. If I recall correctly, the fireplace in Nanamo's chambers conceals the entrance to a tunnel. It should lead outside the city and allow us to avoid any messy confrontations.
Let's go. Yeah, the Crystal Braves were in Revenant's Toll.
The rest of you go on ahead. I'll handle this lot.
By yourself?
She's committed.
I suppose I shall just have to join you.
They look like they're relishing it.
Crystal Braves too, huh? Now this should be interesting.
Ida! Papalimo!
We will hold our pursuers here. Hurry, now! Find this tunnel of Thancreds.
Minfilia, we cannot linger.
How do you maybe say goodbye to your friends forever in that moment? Wonder what the lady in waiting has to say to him. Wonder what she's up to.
Ah! Now look what you've done.
Ida, are you all right? There are just too many of them.
I'm fine. I could do this all day. How about you?
Nearing the end of my tether.
This is so stupid. We're the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. The ones who stand between this realm and the evil that's trying to destroy it.
And if you think we'll leave the stewardship of Eorzea to the likes of your masters, then you're sorely mistaken.
Sorry I dragged you into this, Papalimo.
'Tis hardly the first time, and I'll be damned if it will be the last.
Nice.
Let them have it, Ida!
Go get him.
I
Go
was
get him.
hoping you'd say that.
There's a smile.
I never knew such a watercourse existed beneath Uldar.
The architecture is of the Sildine style, if I'm not mistaken. The ancients plainly foresaw the need for a ready means of escape.
Never box yourself in if you can avoid it. Always have an escape route plan.
This way!
Well, that didn't take long. It seems these tunnels were not as secret as I'd hoped.
You two, go on ahead. Thancred and I will deal with this.
What do you mean to do?
Only that which is required to ensure that the dawn's light survive to brighten the morrow.
Fear not, antecedent. You haven't seen the last of these fair features.
My friends.
Leave us!
What is the plan, milady? Shall I take the dozen on the left and you the dozen on the right? The odds are not exactly stacked in our favor.
Numbers will count for little when I bring the tunnel down upon their heads. Though I cannot say I relish the thought of being entombed with you for all eternity.
You wound me. I will have you know that many a maid would kill for the chance to spend forever at my side. Now, may I have the last dance?
Took an arrow to the knee.
Well, this is going splendidly. Now would be a good time, milady!
'Tis done. Forgive me, Mitra.
Mitra's her sister.
Farewell, Minfilia.
Heidelin, she speaks to me. No. I must remain behind, but you cannot stay with me.
Like, no.
Please, you must go on. You are the warrior of light. You are hope for the Scions and for all the realm. As long as your flame continues to burn, the light of the dawn may ever be relit. You must escape and save Eorzea from those who would plunge it into darkness. Tis the only way.
When Idling calls, you go.
I am glad to see you safe, my friend. What of the others? Damn that man! Taleji played me for a fool! I thought the Crystal Brave's mine till the very moment I felt the blade at my back.
There will be ample time for soul-searching later. For now, we must put some arms between us and Ul'dah.
Kind of convenient there.
Well, would you look who it is? Need a ride? I doubt it'll be half as exciting as the last trip we took. Not if I have anything to say about it anyway.
Okay, that's the... If you remember from your very, very start, he accompanied you on your beginnings as a warrior of light.
Let's not dawdle, eh? All aboard!
A lot going on there, isn't there?
I was stocking up on supplies over in Vesper Bay, you see, when your sister come up and begged a favour. Said her brother was having some trouble down in Ul'dah, and likely needed a helping hand getting away.
I think either the Crystal Braves took over Revenant's Toll, or Ryle, who knew some kind of plot was going on. Ryle maybe got in touch with her.
Thinking them ruins would make a fine hiding place, I decided to try there first. And lo and behold, there you were. Aye, and judging by them soldiers as we're pouring out of the city, I arrived not a moment too soon. Ha! Must have been fate that we happened to find you there, though, eh?
I had thought to look out for Alize, but would appear she was the one watching over me. I've made such a mess of things.
gone from overconfident to emo.
And who might you be, young sir?
Pippin Taropin, Vice Marshal of the Immortal Flames. I had been on the Alamegan front these past few moons, but an urgent communication called me back to Ul'dah. Scarce had my boots touched the cobbles, though, when the streets erupted with cries of assassination. I immediately went in search of answers, and came across Master Alphino here. Needless to say, I did not think his imprisonment justified. The blame plainly lies with the Monitarists. Their greed and corruption are well known to me, but for them to take advantage of the situation with such alacrity...
Was that Pippin, you said? Ain't that the name of General Alden's lad?
Yes, I am his son. Adopted, of course. 'Twas only as we were leaving Ul'dah that I learned of father's fate. Once I have seen you a safe distance away, I mean to return to the city and extricate him from this madness.
Then you needn't travel no further than Blackbrush. Our fugitives have a friend waiting for them there.
I dreamed of bringing about Eorzea's salvation, but in the end, 'twas I who needed saving.
Sometimes things happen like that. Yep, Alvino, yep. Them soldiers will keep searching for a while yet. Reckon we'll take the carriage back towards Ul'dah, get the lay of the land, maybe provide a distraction if need be. You three wait here. Help will be along shortly. Stay strong, friends. The real fight's to come. All right, let's go. How could I have been so blind? Well, you're a teenager, that's how. A teenager who's too trusting. The most unassuming folk can prove to be our greatest allies. The fellow was but a passing merchant. Yet he lent us aid without a moment's hesitation or any hint of concern for his own safety. Though I can well imagine how a man could feel inspired to risk all in your presence. Father spoke often of you, Gav, and long have I looked forward to our first meeting. Needless to say, this is not at all how I envisioned it. Master Alphino, you must not give in to despair. That would only play into our enemy's hands. So long as you and Gav are free, we may still set things right. Forgive me, Marshal Turpin, but I... Alphino, my boy! Sorry to keep you waiting. Sid, what are you doing here? Pulling you out of the fire as usual. Your merchant friend told me everything. Truly? Then he is no merchant, but an angel in peddler's clothing. But tell us, how do you intend to bear our friends to safety? I hid the Enterprise, but a short distance away. All I need is a destination. We must find a place beyond the reach of both the Monitarists and the Crystal Braes. Kurthus. Ishgard will not suffer the intrusions of foreign forces in their territory. That settles it. With me, everyone. Not I fear I must remain here. I dare not abandon Ul'dah to the Monitarists and their cronies. You may be certain that they will seek to defame you, both here and in the other city-states, but know that I shall do my utmost to thwart their every effort. Frankly, I do not expect it to be much of a challenge. The small folk will not turn so easily on the Warrior of Light and his allies, no matter what the monitors claim. Marshal Tarupin, I know not what to say. Pippin says, "Ha! Now that father would labor to believe. But enough talk. You must go, Master Alphino. Your airship awaits." Up, up. There's no rest for the righteous. We should make for Camp Dragonhead and speak with Lord Orshafal. Mayhap he will know what to do. Wow. Wow. Elfino's being emo again. Lord Orshafal has agreed to grant us succor. He says that we will be safe here. Master Alphino told me your tale, Gav. It warms my heart that you should turn to me before all others, and I shall endeavor to deserve your trust. Alas, the situation here has grown more complicated in your absence. It would be best if I explained in full. Lord Orshafal doesn't hesitate for a moment to give them aid. The cutscenes were so long, my egg wore off. My goodness. Times of trouble, there are few things more precious than unconditional support. True. It's true.
There has been word from the capital. Ishgard has weathered another assault. And 'tis said several wyverns broke through into the city proper. The temple knights succeeded in slaying the beasts, but the intrusion prompted orders to further strengthen the guard and to place the city under a perpetual state of alert. How keenly we feel the loss of our wards at the gates of judgment. Yet we must not bemoan our misfortune. Sir Emmerich is safely returned from Ul'dah, and once more leads the defense of Ishgard. As for the matter of your asylum, I am afraid no progress will be made until the threat to our nation is diminished. But do not despair. You are not without allies. You are more than welcome to shelter here for as long as you wish. Pray, think of it as a new headquarters of sorts. The Falling Snows or something.
Falling Snows?
All frivolity aside, any who come here in search of you will receive no aid from House Forton. For once, the Ishgardian reputation for inhospitality shall work in our favor. Agents of Ul'dah will find their every inquiry dismissed, and their every request for entry rebuffed, until such time as their masters have acknowledged your innocence. You once fought to preserve the honor of my dear friend. 'Tis a blessing that I may now repay that debt in kind.
So, your Warrior of Light, earlier in the game, in the ARR story, not the patches, helps clear the name of Lord Francel de Eilenart. And you actually get to meet Lord Francel in Heavensward, too.
But let us dwell no more on this. Pray, join the rest of your companions. 'Tis bitterly cold this day. I suspect there are those who might welcome the warmth your presence brings.
The intercessory awaits, Gav. Pray, do not keep your companions in suspense. I am certain their hearts will soar at the sight of you. Who managed to escape, and what of those who did not? Well, let's go find out, Alphino. Greetings, sir. Shall I show you inside? Upon proceeding to the intercessory, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It's recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. Not quite as long as the previous set of cutscene. Alphino, Gav, is it really you? I'm so happy that you are... I tried contacting Minfilia and the others, but no one would respond. And then Crystal Braves and our own people turned on us in the marketplace. Flamine told me to run, and so I did. I ran until my lungs burned and my feet ached, but I lost my way, and then... Fortunately, I had observed some of the Braves behaving suspiciously beforehand. Ah, yes, my mask. It was lost in the struggle. Pretty, isn't she? This is where they introduced the Aura race. They didn't have it in the base game, but they were bringing it into Heavensward. So this is where you got to see the introduction of her. And yes, she is pretty. Anyway, after Yugiri found me, we traveled to Vesper Bay and met up with Urianger. Then when we told him what had happened, he used his magics to weave a glamour around the Waking Sands. From the outside, our old headquarters now look like an abandoned storehouse. The transformation didn't take long either. Apparently, Urianger started making preparations after the Imperial attack, just in case the Empire ever chose to pay us another visit. Good thinking, eh? Sorry, where was I? Oh, yes, as we waited there at the Waking Sands, hoping others would come, but no one else did. Yugiri, my people are searching for the other Scions even as we speak, but we have met with no success yet. I had hoped that you might be able to suggest further places to look. Ah, but you should know, the Rising Stones did not share the Waking Sands' good fortune. Only Crystal Braves await you there. Be that as it may, we yet have cause to hope, do we not? If the two of you escaped, it is not impossible that the others could have done so as well. You may have been forsaken by men and women believed true, but rest assured that the people of Doma yet stand with you. We welcome this opportunity to repay our debts, and shall continue our efforts to locate the others and see the Scions restored to their rightful place of honor.
"'Tis all my doing."
Can we just slap him upside the face? Alphino. Look. I know you're upset, but man, we gotta work on getting out of here. Can't do that if you're moping.
I believed myself the only one who truly understood Eorzea's woes. And look what that arrogance has wrought. I gave commands, influenced governments with my certainty. I treated the Crystal Braves and even the Scions themselves as pawns in my great scheme to save the realm. But in my headlong rush into imagined glory, I paid no heed to the ground upon which I trod. The salvation of Eorzea. What was it that I hoped to achieve?
You can have good intentions, but then you can be surrounded by people who have their own agendas and don't believe in your good intentions and who are more than willing to sabotage you any way they can.
Did I believe that I could rid the realm of every danger and difficulty? That I could defeat the Empire and the Ascians, and find homes for every refugee? Oh, yes. I was so very clever. Become a guardian of Eorzea, I implored, and sat back to watch my perfect army cleanse the land of chaos. 'Twas all but a means to feed my own vanity. Only when all is lost do I finally realize the truth.
Okay, Alphino. Get it out. Get it all out now.
So, Master Alphino, are you content to remain a broken blade? Is there no flame hot enough to reforge you?
Go, Horsefall.
What of the fine companions who yet stand at your side? I dare say the fires of their determination will soon have you slicing the air again with your customary wit.
I hardly deserve such friendship. And besides, where are we to go?
Alphino, if I may? Should this place not serve our purpose, then we shall go to Ishgard. Minfilia told me many times, as long as we stand fast against despair, the beacon of hope will never be lost to sight. Be it in the snow or in the clouds, we few will see that the dawn's light shines again.
You are right, Tataru. Thank you. And thank you for your kind words, Lord Orshfon. 'Tis true that Eorzea yet has her guardians. The Scions have achieved much, and 'twould be remiss of me to discard it all in a fit of self-pity.
Oh, thank God. Thank God we're getting past the self-pity.
Resume our journey together.
I apparently had the same thought twice. Oh, wait. We got another cutscene.
All has been arranged as you desired, my lord.
She was working with Lolorito too. Wonder what that was about. Elidibus Nabrialis is no more. Elidibus is the one who's always in the white robes. Lahabrea. The ardor was not his to invoke. His demise was of his own making. Nevertheless, it concerns me. They have extinguished that which should rightly be eternal. Mayhap he was not wholly mistaken. Greater haste may be warranted. We are of one mind. Elidibus says, the northern lands, then. The earth is fertile, and the seeds well sown. By my will, they shall reap salvation unlike any the world has known. By his will. By his will. Urianger. I have answered thy summons, emissary. Speak, and make thine intent known. Now, remember, or you may not remember, may not have had it in an earlier video, but the emissary is an Ascian who came to the Scions wanting to parley instead of wanting to destroy. Now, he's still doing these machinations, but he was one who could actually work with the Scions, believe it or not. And so he knows Urianger. I would speak of fate, Archon. Yours, mine. The fate of this very star. Now, Urianger is smart enough to know that, he's more than willing to listen. Whether he's going to work with you or not is another story entirely.
Thou thinkest sanctuary lieth beyond. Delusion, despair, death. Thou shalt find naught else here.
Sort of the spirit of Midgard Sormer speaking to him, not an actual little tiny dragon. To preserve the dawn's light, the heroes journeyed north. Their hearts filled with hope and eyes fixed heavensward. right. We are going to leave it here, cats and kittens. We get our cat joke. And thank you for staying with me so long. My goodness. I knew the cutscenes were long, but I didn't realize they were quite as long as they are. What's a cat's favorite song? Fur Elise. Fur Elise. You gotta be a music geek for that one, man. So that's an old song. Old song. All right. On that note, we're gonna say goodnight. You have a great one, cats and kittens.